The studio lights on the set of Loose Women gleamed brightly as Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, stepped onto the familiar daytime television platform one crisp morning, expecting a relatively light-hearted discussion about his recent initiatives in mental health awareness and his ongoing work with various charitable causes around the globe. He had appeared on similar shows before, navigating questions with a mix of charm and carefully chosen words that highlighted his journey from royal duties to a more independent life in California alongside his wife Meghan and their children. The panel, consisting of experienced presenters including Ruth Langsford, Nadia Sawalha, and the outspoken Denise Welch, welcomed him with the usual warm smiles and applause from the live audience. Harry settled into his seat, adjusting his posture with that signature blend of royal poise and modern casualness, dressed in a smart yet relaxed outfit that reflected his current lifestyle away from the constraints of palace protocols. Little did he know that this particular segment would spiral into one of the most intense on-air confrontations in recent television history, centered around Denise Welch's no-holds-barred approach to questioning public figures. As the conversation began innocently enough with inquiries about his latest book projects and family life, the atmosphere shifted when Denise leaned forward, her eyes locking onto Harry with a determination that signaled she wasn't there to simply nod along to rehearsed anecdotes. She started by acknowledging his efforts in advocacy but quickly pivoted to deeper issues, probing about his public criticisms of the British monarchy and the family dynamics that had led to his departure from official royal roles. Harry responded measuredly at first, defending his choices as necessary for his mental well-being and that of his loved ones, drawing from personal experiences of media scrutiny and institutional pressures. However, Denise pressed harder, challenging him on the perceived hypocrisy of using his royal title while simultaneously distancing himself from the institution that granted it, suggesting that many viewers felt he was profiting from the very system he condemned. The exchange grew more charged as Harry countered by emphasizing the importance of authenticity and speaking out against perceived injustices, his voice rising slightly with emotion as he referenced past events that had shaped his worldview. The other panelists attempted to interject with lighter comments or attempts to steer the discussion back to safer topics, but Denise's persistence kept the focus sharp and unrelenting, creating a palpable tension that rippled through the studio. Audience members shifted uncomfortably in their seats, some murmuring in surprise at the directness, while others nodded in agreement with the tough questions being posed. This initial clash set the stage for what would become a defining moment, highlighting the clash between celebrity culture, royal expectations, and unfiltered journalistic inquiry in the world of entertainment television. As minutes ticked by, the back and forth intensified, revealing layers of frustration on both sides that went beyond the superficial pleasantries typically exchanged on such programs. Denise Welch, known for her candid opinions and willingness to tackle controversial subjects without pulling punches, did not shy away from addressing what she saw as inconsistencies in Prince Harry's narrative over the years. She referenced specific interviews and statements where he had spoken critically about palace life, the press, and even members of his own family, questioning whether these revelations served a greater purpose or simply fueled ongoing public division. Harry, visibly taken aback by the line of questioning that deviated from the promotional tone he anticipated, defended his positions passionately, arguing that transparency was essential for healing and progress, especially in light of his experiences with invasive media practices that had affected not only him but countless others. The debate delved into topics like the cost of security arrangements for his family, the financial implications of his post-royal endeavors, and the broader implications for the monarchy's relevance in contemporary society. Welch pointed out that while many supported his mental health advocacy, there remained skepticism about how his actions aligned with the privileges he still enjoyed, prompting Harry to retort that such privileges came with a heavy personal price tag that outsiders could scarcely understand. The studio audience grew more engaged, with occasional gasps and scattered applause punctuating the exchange, as the conversation touched on sensitive areas including family estrangement and public perception shaped by tabloid headlines. Other hosts on the panel tried to mediate, offering balanced perspectives or humorous asides to diffuse the building heat, but the core confrontation between Harry and Denise dominated the segment, turning what was meant to be a standard celebrity chat into a raw, unscripted debate. Harry's facial expression shifted from composed to increasingly animated, his hands gesturing emphatically as he articulated his commitment to living authentically rather than conforming to outdated expectations. Denise, undeterred, countered with examples from her own life and observations of public figures, drawing parallels to illustrate her points about accountability and the responsibilities that come with influence. This heated dialogue exposed underlying societal debates about class, fame, and the right to privacy versus the public's right to know, making viewers at home tune in more intently as the drama unfolded. The clash was not merely personal but symbolic of larger tensions between traditional institutions and modern voices seeking reform or reinvention. As the intensity peaked, producers in the control room likely exchanged concerned glances, wondering how far the exchange would escalate before natural breaks or commercial interruptions could provide relief. Yet the segment continued, capturing authentic emotions that rarely surfaced so openly on polished daytime television. Harry's growing frustration became evident in his choice of words, which carried an edge of defensiveness mixed with genuine conviction, while Denise maintained her composure, delivering her critiques with the seasoned skill of a longtime performer unafraid of ruffling feathers. The argument reached a critical juncture when Denise Welch directly confronted Prince Harry about his decision to step back from royal duties and the subsequent media deals and public appearances that followed, suggesting that these moves might undermine the very causes he championed by keeping the spotlight firmly on personal grievances rather than collective solutions. Harry pushed back firmly, explaining that his path was driven by a desire to break free from cycles of dysfunction and to protect his family's peace, citing instances where institutional rigidity had clashed with individual needs for support and understanding. The exchange highlighted differing worldviews, one rooted in loyalty to heritage and public service through established channels, and the other emphasizing personal agency and the courage to challenge systemic issues even at great personal cost. Studio cameras captured every nuance, from subtle shifts in body language to the occasional overlapping speech as emotions ran high, creating a television moment that felt more like a courtroom drama than a casual chat show. Audience reactions varied widely, with some cheering Denise for asking the tough questions many had pondered privately, while others sympathized with Harry's evident struggle to maintain dignity amid what he perceived as an ambush. The other panelists interjected more urgently now, attempting to redirect toward Harry's positive contributions in areas like environmental conservation and veteran support programs. But the momentum of the clash proved difficult to halt entirely. Harry articulated his belief that true change requires uncomfortable conversations, even on national television, and that silencing dissent only perpetuates problems within powerful structures. Denise, in turn, argued for balance, pointing out that public figures bear responsibility for the messages they send, particularly when their platform derives from historical privilege. This philosophical tug-of-war added depth to the segment, transforming it from mere entertainment into a microcosm of ongoing cultural conversations about royalty, celebrity, and accountability in the digital age. Viewers later flooded social media with divided opinions, some praising the raw honesty while others criticized the lack of decorum in handling a high-profile guest. As the discussion wore on, the initial warmth of the welcome had evaporated, replaced by a charged atmosphere thick with unresolved tension. Producers might have signaled for a break, but the live format allowed the confrontation to breathe and evolve naturally, revealing the complexities beneath polished public personas. Harry's responses grew more pointed, defending his family's choices with references to privacy invasions and the emotional toll of constant scrutiny, while Denise maintained her stance with examples drawn from broader societal observations. The segment underscored how even well-intentioned appearances can unravel when hosts prioritize probing inquiry over promotional fluff. Tension escalated further as Prince Harry, feeling increasingly cornered by Denise Welch's persistent line of questioning, began to challenge the premises of her arguments directly, pointing out what he described as selective interpretations of his statements and actions that ignored the full context of his experiences within the royal framework. He spoke of the immense pressure to conform, the lack of adequate support during personal crises, and his commitment to using his voice for those who felt voiceless in similar situations, all while emphasizing that his criticisms stemmed from love for his homeland rather than disdain. Welch, however, refused to yield ground, countering that public discourse demanded consistency and that leveraging royal connections for commercial ventures raised legitimate questions about motives and impacts on public sentiment toward the monarchy. The back and forth created an electric dynamic, with the live audience hanging on every word, their reactions ranging from supportive murmurs to shocked whispers at the boldness displayed on both sides. Other hosts attempted to inject levity or pivot to audience questions, but the central duel between Harry and Denise overshadowed everything else, turning the episode into an unforgettable television event. Cameras zoomed in on facial expressions that conveyed layers of emotion, Harry's mix of indignation and earnestness, Denise's steely resolve tempered by her characteristic wit. This clash touched on broader themes like freedom of speech, the role of media in shaping narratives, and the challenges faced by individuals navigating fame inherited versus earned. Social media buzzed instantly with clips and commentary, amplifying the moment far beyond the studio walls and sparking debates among royal watchers, feminists, and casual viewers alike. Harry defended his relocation and new life as a necessary step toward authenticity, arguing that staying silent would betray his principles, while Denise highlighted the privileges that persisted despite his claims of victimhood, urging a more nuanced view of entitlement and responsibility. The exchange revealed how personal histories and public perceptions collide in real time, offering no easy resolutions but plenty of food for thought. As the segment approached its natural conclusion, the intensity showed no signs of waning, with both parties standing firm in their convictions and the panel struggling to find common ground. This moment encapsulated the unpredictable nature of live television, where prepared talking points often give way to spontaneous revelations and conflicts. Viewers at home debated whether such confrontations served a public interest or merely entertained through controversy, but few could deny the gripping quality of the unfolding drama. In the heat of the moment, Prince Harry delivered a passionate rebuttal that seemed to catch even Denise Welch slightly off guard, outlining the personal sacrifices involved in his choices and calling for empathy rather than judgment when evaluating complex family matters played out under global scrutiny. He referenced the importance of mental health initiatives he supported, linking them to his own journey and expressing hope that his story could inspire positive change rather than division. Yet Welch circled back to practical concerns, questioning the long-term effects on public institutions and whether high-profile exits set precedents that weakened rather than strengthened societal frameworks. The studio felt alive with energy, the air thick with anticipation as each response built upon the last, creating a narrative arc that resembled a scripted drama but unfolded with the authenticity of unfiltered human interaction. Panelists like Nadia and Ruth offered moderating voices, suggesting middle paths or shared understandings, but their efforts highlighted the depth of the divide exposed during the interview. Audience members later shared that the exchange prompted them to reflect on their own views regarding royalty, media ethics, and personal accountability in the spotlight. Clips circulated rapidly online, generating millions of views and countless opinions, with hashtags trending as people weighed in on who won the debate or whether both sides raised valid points worth considering. Harry's demeanor shifted from defensive to assertive, using the platform to advocate for broader reforms while acknowledging the challenges of public life. Denise, true to her reputation, maintained her direct style, pushing for clarity and consistency without resorting to personal attacks, which lent the confrontation a level of intellectual rigor amid the emotional undercurrents. This episode served as a reminder of television's power to facilitate difficult dialogues that might otherwise remain confined to private circles or echo chambers. As the discussion wound toward its end, the unresolved tension lingered, leaving viewers with more questions than answers about the future of royal figures in modern media landscapes. The clash underscored ongoing cultural shifts where traditional deference increasingly gives way to egalitarian scrutiny, forcing public personalities to navigate uncharted territories of expectation and criticism. Ultimately, the heated exchange culminated in Prince Harry rising from his seat with a visible expression of frustration and resolve, announcing that he felt the conversation had veered too far into unproductive territory and choosing to exit the set amid stunned reactions from the panel and audience alike. Denise Welch remained seated, her face reflecting a mix of satisfaction at having sparked real dialogue and perhaps a touch of surprise at the abrupt conclusion, while fellow hosts scrambled to fill the sudden void with closing remarks and attempts to salvage the segment's flow. Producers reportedly stepped in behind the scenes to manage the fallout, but the live broadcast had already captured the raw moment that would dominate headlines and social feeds for days afterward. This incident sparked widespread discussions about the boundaries of guest interviews, the responsibilities of talk show hosts, and the evolving relationship between celebrities, royalty, and the public eye in an era of instant digital sharing. Many commentators viewed Harry's departure as a stand for self-respect in the face of what he perceived as overly aggressive questioning, while others applauded Denise for holding a prominent figure accountable without deference to status. The event fueled debates on whether such clashes advance meaningful conversation or merely amplify sensationalism in entertainment media. In the aftermath, Loose Women addressed the segment in subsequent episodes, with panelists reflecting on the importance of robust discourse while emphasizing respect for all participants. Prince Harry, through representatives or later statements, reiterated his commitment to causes close to his heart, framing the experience as another example of the challenges inherent in public advocacy. Denise Welch continued her role on the show, known for her forthright style that often generates buzz and engages viewers on pressing issues. The entire episode became a case study in live television dynamics, illustrating how a single interview can encapsulate larger societal tensions around privilege, mental health, family loyalty, and media power. Fans and critics alike analyzed every detail, from body language cues to specific phrasing, in an attempt to unpack the underlying meanings and implications. This moment reminded everyone that even in the polished world of daytime TV, authenticity and conflict can emerge unexpectedly, captivating audiences and prompting introspection long after the cameras stop rolling. The story of that dramatic clash on Loose Women served as a vivid illustration of the unpredictable intersections between personal journeys and public platforms in contemporary culture.